Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
So what's up there, brethren?
Same old shit,
Happy
as
New Year.
always.
Hey, Happy New Year. Welcome back to another episode of If This Doesn't Work, the best podcast in the lands. I know I said if I didn't get to 300 subscribers at the end of the last year, I would kill myself. I didn't say when, so just saying. We got to 298, and so this close. But I will follow through and kill myself. I'm a man of my word.
On the podcast.
Just not saying when. Yeah, probably on the podcast, but just not going to say when.
To be fair, we've had over 300, but we've had a couple of people unsubscribe.
Mm-hmm.
So
we've had a couple smart people
technically,
unsubscribe.
Overall,
Yeah.
we did get 300.
True. And once I'm dead, this thing's going to go crazy. What's it called? Posthumously?
Yeah.
You know the word
you
posthumous?
kill yourself
It's
on
a
one
good
of these
word.
episodes? You get so many views.
I think either way, it's one of those things where, you know, like Van Gogh, right? He was in a psych ward, and then he died, and then he got famous. I've been in a psych ward.
Yeah.
I'm going to die. That's 2 out of 3.
You should probably go back and do the episodes from the psych ward.
He allegedly painted a starry night from the psych ward looking out the window.
I guess people do their best work in the psych ward.
I don't know how true that is, but
You can test it out.
yeah, I mean, I
They'll
didn't
take
do
you
a lot
back.
of work when I was there. Yeah, they told me if I ever need to come
Right.
back.
They got a room saved for you.
Yeah, alumni shit, you know. My alma mater, Shepherd Pratt, in Bon Secours. I've been to 2, baby, but we're out now. We made it out.
For now.
That's crazy, man. I'm sane.
Yeah, you're good.
No, you just tricked them.
Yeah, well, this episode ain't gonna help.
Yeah, you tricked them long enough for them to let you out.
Yeah, that was fucked up. But we made it out, and we're here, and now we go and, like, you know, intentionally make ourselves crazy.
I mean, yeah, we're all going to go crazy eventually if we're not
Yeah.
already.
And it's like I'm in a hurry to do it, bro. Like, you know, I don't actually want to go crazy, but, like, running off to hang out with shamans and do anything.
I mean, yeah, what do you think's going to happen? You're just going to have so many more questions and, you know what I mean?
I assume I'm going to heal like so many other
No.
people have.
No.
Like, what kills me is everyone who goes is like, yeah, this has changed my life. This is like this is like the best thing that ever happened to me. I healed from this thing I didn't even know I had going on with me, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if I'm, you know, and I don't know if I'm getting all that. And it's like, you could argue, so we're talking about ayahuasca and peyote and DMT and bufo, the toad venom you smoke, and all this different shit. And also there's like, so I went to Mexico over the New Year's break and took part in some plant medicine journeys, right? Or some people would say, you know, you went and got high and took drugs, you know, and it's like,
Same thing.
yeah. It's like, I don't care what you call it, right? I'm not here saying it's one or the other.
Right.
I just know that if you actually look into it and hear testimonials of people who've done it, it's pretty, like, profound.
Mm-hmm.
One way or the other, it's profound.
Right.
It's like, it's very seldom to have this complete non-experience or like a, you know.
Right, just nothing. Just,
Yeah. Something's going on there that's profound. So I've done a lot of different psychedelics. I've went and did ayahuasca a few years ago in Peru, which is a whole thing, which I've, you know, detailed at length on this podcast. Turned into a dragon, no big deal.
Right.
Made it
Just
back.
another day.
Yeah, made it back, and I actually have my notebook from Peru, and I'm gonna read a couple things from it because
And when did you write in that book?
In
During
Peru.
or after?
After.
Like, so later that night.
later that night or the next morning or whatever throughout,
Okay.
but not during.
Not during. Be just
But-
scribbles.
Yeah, I've started eating the pages, just ripping them out and chewing them up one by one. So I went to Mexico to try peyote, which is a cactus that contains mescaline. So all these different plant medicines have different active ingredients in them. Not to get too nerdy or scientific-y, but the magic mushrooms have psilocybin, right? The ayahuasca has DMT, dimethyltryptamine. The cactus has mescaline. So there's different active ingredients. They all make you trip, okay? It's the one thing they have in common. And
what you
you're
want.
tripping. Huh?
That's what you want.
Yeah, well, tripping, and it's like to describe tripping to someone who's never done it, you can't. The movies do such a shit job.
Oh, I hate the
bro,
movies,
bro,
dude.
the whole like you're gonna hallucinate this unicorn in your kitchen out of
Right,
nowhere.
yeah.
It's like you're not getting these visual absolute. Are you cold as fuck?
No,
Okay.
it's just I'm just thinking like, for me anyway, I've never really seen things that like aren't there.
No.
It just like things that are there just start.
Or distorted.
They get wavy or melting or
breathing,
Yes.
moving, melting.
It's like if you ever go underwater and you see
Right.
everything moving
Right.
with the current.
Right.
It's like it adds that to just everything.
At most, if you're going to get some
Yes.
visuals, right? It's like, and sometimes you don't get any visuals, right?
No.
You've tripped plenty of times
Yes.
and had no visuals,
Yeah.
but tripping balls.
Right. You
And it's hard to
feel good.
explain. What's
Yeah.
that like? Like to someone who has it, I mean, you just can't really explain it. You really cannot. It's one of those things where it's like, unless you've done it,
Yeah, you just gotta do it.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying to do it.
I am.
Rich is.
I'm saying to do it. Do it.
But
Definitely do it.
there's something going on. It's fucking weird. It's hard to describe, but I wanted to try all these different ones because I went through a lot of mushrooms, right, in my life,
Yep.
and they taught me a lot about myself. I learned I was not okay, and I thought I was okay. Silly me, right? Went through the whole thing, yada, 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 ended up doing way too many and not stopping, and ended up in a psych ward, right? Which is a thing that can happen. It's pretty rare, but
Well, it's because you didn't. I think the one time you didn't. You just. I think you just like ate mushrooms for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day
Yeah.
for like a week.
Yeah, I survived off of Fun Dip and mushrooms for like
you
2
don't
weeks.
want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, you need a little downtime.
Yeah, that's
you
what
know?
that's what they say too. Like you can't just stay at the top of the mountain.
Right.
You climb up, get the message, and go back down to the village. I got to the mountaintop, bro, and I'm like, I'm never
you built a
coming
log
down.
cabin up there. You
I'm gonna be
stayed.
one of these dead motherfuckers on Everest, one of these colorful motherfuckers on Everest.
Old green boots.
Right.
That's one of them.
So but because of the healing I have experienced and transformative experiences I have had recreationally with mushrooms, that opened my mind to the world of psychedelics.
Yes.
And not to sound like a fucking beating the same drum as always, but I just had a recent one, so I'm going to touch on a couple things of how I got here. So I've done a lot of that. Mushrooms, LSD, DMT. I've smoked synthetic DMT. Quite a few times and broken through, which is like and this is the thing too. The fact that they're all called like psychedelics is unfair.
Yeah, because it's
they're so
like
different.
Yes,
Bro, the fact that you can call breaking through on DMT the same thing as like a mushroom trip,
completely different, dude.
We're
like,
not even talking in the same realm.
Like I seen some shit that wasn't there on DMT. Like.
Yeah.
Like faces.
What
like
do you
people,
mean?
Like
if you break through on DMT, you're not even here.
Right.
You're not even in the realm.
Right. Yeah.
That's what people. I mean, when you actually break through, there's getting to the waiting room, which is crazy, and kaleidoscopic colors and all this and vibrating. But when you break through, you're no longer
on Earth
where you're at. Right. You're genuinely not. And I know that sounds crazy. And it's like, all right. So look, put it this way. I have been there's lots of parts that make us up, right? No one's all of one thing. So like a part of me has always been open-minded to the idea that maybe these are spiritual experiences. Maybe this is a multidimensional thing. Maybe these are it's some type of ancestral knowledge, right? Passed down through the universe.
Right.
I've been open-minded to all this, but I've also had a skeptic in me always that went, yeah, but it also is probably just chemistry.
Yeah, it's
probably just
fucking up your brain in a
fucking
way.
your brain up, right?
You know.
This experience I've had in Mexico has silenced that skeptic.
No more skeptic, huh?
Not when it comes to that. Not when it comes to that.
And what caused that?
I'll tell you. Okay? I'll give you the whole rundown. So I wanted to go to that 10-day silent retreat.
Okay.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
I've been wanting to go to that. That was supposed to be for the new year. That's when I'm off of work. That's when I had the time. But it's free, right? So everyone applies to try to go. So they can only.
So you can't just go. You got to apply and
right,
pick.
because it's free.
And they pick.
And then they pick the applicants.
I wonder how they pick.
Well, right. I don't. Yeah.
You know, they look you up on Facebook.
Right.
Or they draw names out of a hat.
Yeah. This guy's too gay and
Right.
suicidal.
Right. This guy would definitely kill himself. Day two.
So, but I didn't get into that, but didn't find out until late. Okay. Once I found that out, then I'm scrambling because I'm like, well, now I have this time off at the end of the year, and I'd like to do something good for me, or into something that'll.
Right, so I'm gonna go hang out with shamans.
So I'm gonna go try some plant medicines that I've wanted to try, which is peyote, which it comes from Mexico, I believe. Like ayahuasca comes from Peru, so I decided to go to Peru and do it.
Right.
peyote comes from Mexico, so I decided to go to Mexico and do it. Well, I get there, my flight gets in late. I planned it late, so I didn't look a whole lot into this place. Okay?
Yeah, so
I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants.
it's always good.
Yeah, it's very Justin-like. It's chaotic, dude. I get there, I land. Also, as far as like, so when I went to Peru, you get there, you have to take a taxi to like a bus, and then a bus a couple hours. Then you got to get on a boat to go to this other boat to then go more hours into this jungle, like
Deep into the rainforest.
yeah. And then once you're there, you're in there. You're there. You're stuck there. You're a part of this retreat.
Right, you can't just leave.
You can't just go nowhere. You can't just pull up.
Call
to
an
you can't
Uber.
Just, yeah. And there's no like, oh, this is what I want to do this day. It's like, this is what we're doing. This is the program.
Right.
This place, when I was reaching out to them, I'm like, all right, so what's the program? Like, what's a week stay look like? You know? And they're like, whatever you want. And I'm like, all right. They're like, everyone's different, so everyone's just going to look different. I'm like, all right, I guess I get that. And I'm like, well, I'm interested in doing the peyote. And they're like, yeah, cool. Come down. And I'm like, all right. So I just don't know when I'm doing what's the schedule, what's going on, whatever. I book it through them, get out there. I land late. I get a shuttle I land in Cancun, get a shuttle to Playa del Carmen. There they have a taxi, their own taxi guy. Pick me up. There's a bit of a language barrier. I speak un poquito español, okay? That's about all I know how to say in it. But he takes me to where I'm glamping at. So I'm like, I have a tent, right? It's like a fancy tent with a full-size bed in it.
You stayed in a tent all week?
Huh?
You stayed in a tent?
Yeah. And it's like, yeah. But it was, glamping. It was fine. It was decent. I don't need much. It was whatever. But he takes me to the spot, and he's like, I go in, he's like, shows me, he's like, unzips it, and I walk in to put my suitcase down, and I'm like about to like start unpacking my shit, and like I turn around, and he's still standing at my door, and I'm like, he's like, it's okay, and I'm like, yeah, it's good, man. And he's like, okay. He's like, come on. I'm like, it's like an 8:30, 9 p.m. some shit like that,
Right,
and he's like, come
where?
on. I'm like, he's like, we gotta go. They're waiting on us, and I'm like, what? And not even understanding. He doesn't tell me like, you're about to go into a ceremony right now. So I drop my bag off, my suitcase, don't even get to open it up. And they take me, which they have to drive me again in the taxi somewhere else.
How far?
Probably like 10 minutes, okay? And it is in the jungle. I thought it was going to be in the desert. It was in like the jungle. But basically, so they take me from my glamping thing by myself. I don't see anyone else, just me and this taxi driver. And then we go to this, we drive to this.
He raped you, didn't he?
Huh?
He raped you, didn't he?
Yeah,
Deep
he
in the
wishes.
woods. There wasn't no shamans.
So he takes me 10 minutes over to a house, which is a really cool looking house. It's built in this really cool way. Anyway, so I go in, and there's like 2 people sitting on a mat, and then an empty mat, and they're like all just waiting on me. And then I look, and the shaman, who I'm expecting to be a 100-year-old Mexican guy, right, who's been doing this for 99 years, right? It's just what I'm expecting.
He's like 18.
Listen, when I went to Peru, the shamans were like 80 or some shit,
Right.
And they had learned from their parents, who had learned from their parents,
The elders.
Yeah. It felt like that. It felt super authentic. We needed 2 translators to even speak to these people. I get to this place, and God bless them, it was like, it's like a chick my age from Uruguay. She's not even from Mexico, okay? Which is like, that's fine. I'm not saying you have to be, right?
Right.
And she's like hot. I'm like, how are you gonna be like a hot shaman? Like, I can't even focus. So like, it's like, she's beautiful. She's got like a fucking face tattoo here. She's got like a blacked out sleeve. She's like this. She's just a chick who I could have graduated with. It's just, you're expecting like, this old man with like a staff,
Right. Rafiki.
Yeah. And it's like, I get to meet Augustina, and she's wonderful, and she's great, and it was all wonderful. And so anyways, the first night we do mushrooms. She's like, we're going to do some mushrooms. I'm like, okay, perfect.
Cool.
I know those.
Nice little warm up.
I know those. Nice little warm up. So the idea is the first night you do 2 grams. The second night you eat 4.
Okay. Makes
so
sense.
yeah, so we eat the 2 grams. They put lemon juice on them, eat them, lay down, and you're just supposed to,
Why lemon juice?
Lemon juice like helps activate the psilocybin.
Okay.
Not to get too nerdy, but it turns it from psilocybin to psilocin, which is what your stomach does.
Is it from it being acidic?
Some type of chemical reaction.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess it like, maybe it helps soothe the stomach too. I don't know. She said something, but I know that like there's this thing called the lemon tech, which is like the lemon technique from back in the day, from like when I was doing all my own self research, where you can set your mushrooms, crush them up, and have them sit in lemon juice for 15 minutes, and then if you drink that concoction, because it's already from psilocybin to psilocin, which is what your stomach would do, you start tripping in like 10 minutes.
Okay.
And hard.
Right.
So it's harder, faster, but shorter,
Right.
So fun fact, the lemon tech. But yeah, she just had a little bit of lemon juice on them for whatever reason. Ate them, laid down. They played some like vibrational instruments, stringed instruments you've never heard of or seen in your fucking life. And I tripped. I have a wonderful experience. It's in and out. It's wavy. You know how trips are, right?
How long are you in here for? Hours?
4 to 6 hours, probably.
So to the early hours in the morning.
Yeah. Yep.
2, 3 o'clock.
Yep. Yeah. Maybe 1. But yeah. So maybe it was a 4-hour journey, something like that.
And taxi guy just waits there until you're done tripping to drive you back to your tent.
So sometimes he would come back and get us, and sometimes the witch doctor would take us. Sometimes she would just be like, "All right, come on, I'll take y'all back," But it was very compared to the place I went in Peru, and I'm not going to name either place. I'm not trying to drag it. It was just very unorganized.
Right.
They meant well intentioned, but a lot less. Now they had ceremony and all. It wasn't like, here, just eat these mushrooms and trip. And, it was all very ceremonial, and we're going to do the blessings, and we're going to do the whatever the fuck they do. They do all this ceremony around it, right? Which is all fine. I'm laying there. I'm like, at some points, like I'm like the vibrations from the music and me like line up almost. Like I'm an antenna for it.
Right.
And the vibrations are like going through me, like you become one with the vibration only for like momentarily, but it feels like bliss just for a second.
Right.
Just cool shit like that. I'm not doing any work really on myself. And they say you're supposed to go in with intention. My whole intention was like to be like, well,
Not just do it. Just to do it.
see what it has to show me.
Right.
But they say you need to go in with a specific intention. It's like, well, I don't have a specific thing I need to heal from. There's so much to heal from.
All of it.
Yeah. So that's the first night. The second night, which by the way, then I find out they're like, because I'm like, when are we doing the peyote? And they're like, well, we usually do like, the other guy there was like going to do like just mushrooms or something. He's like going to do 2 grams, 4 grams, and 6 grams or something. And then other people were coming to do ayahuasca, and other people were coming to smoke bufo, and other people were coming to do all this different shit. And what was interesting to me is that it would all be done in the same ceremony. So it wasn't
like a charcuterie board of like
yeah, kind of. And it's like there was not really restrictions. Like you could be in the middle of an ayahuasca trip in this place in Mexico and like pull out your phone, like hop on Instagram. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like we weren't even allowed to have our phones in the room that we were going to be doing the medicine in Peru.
Right.
Like this was like
I get that.
Wide open.
That makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, take my phone from me, please.
This nightmare brick, get this thing away from me. There's nothing worse in the world, than like that when you're tripping. But so it was just kind of like haphazard a little bit. Like you'd be in the same room, a couple people be on ayahuasca, a couple people be on peyote, a couple people be on this. And it was just like, I don't know how you hold space for that. She did. She was able to. Her and this other male shaman who, which by the way, she definitely did. She said she wasn't a shaman. She didn't claim to be one. She genuinely said, I prefer witch doctor. Which is like concerning.
Okay.
But she's like
what's the difference?
She has like dreads, like she just like looked like a witch doctor. Like, bro, she looked like if you're playing a video game and had to do like a side quest for a witch doctor. Like legitimately something you would see in a movie or a video game. Like I'll show you a picture when we get done. It's like the quintessential witch doctor. But and we do rape. Have you heard of rape?
No.
So rape is this shit. It's spelled R-A-P-E. Okay? But the E has an apostrophe over it, right? And so when we go for the ceremony, I just kept thinking about like a sketch where like a guy goes into the ceremony and they're like, welcome to the rape ceremony. And the guy's like, the what?
Right.
And they're like, the rape ceremony. And he's like, I actually gotta get out.
Buttons his pants back up. He's
Yeah,
like, I gotta get out of here.
Dude, I was cracking up about that to myself, But yeah, it's called rape, and it's basically this tobacco snuff mixture with some other shit. Who knows what they have in there? But you like breathe in and out, and then you exhale, and then in your last exhale, you empty your lungs and you have your eyes closed and you put your thumb up and she takes this like tube where she can blow and she puts it in your nostril and goes and then she tells you once I blow it up there, breathe through your mouth. So she blows it up in there and I can't describe what it feels like. It's like icy hot for your senses. It's like it burns like a motherfucker, but in a way that's like good you know?
Yeah.
And your eyes start watering, and it's just, there's no psychedelic aspect to it. This is one of the cleansing things they do.
Okay.
So this Cambo they do, and Rape, and I'll tell you about both. But Rape, so they blow this snuff into your nose. And it was trippy, too, because it was like when I did it, it was my first time doing it here in Mexico. I did it in Peru as well. But so when I did it here in Mexico, a lot of places will have you do it before you do the psychedelic. So it like spiritually cleanses you,
right.
is the idea. They blow it in your nose, and you're supposed to keep your eyes closed, and they blow it, and all your senses are on they're on 10. Ding, it's like things are tingling, you know? It's just like, and burning, and there's all these crazy sensations going on, and as soon as they do it, they have you sitting on the floor, she's in front of you. Well, unbeknownst to you, or unbeknownst to me, the other shaman, like, gets behind you. So that I don't even know he's back there. So I have my eyes closed, and she blows it in there, and as soon as she blows it in there, and you breathe out, like, he, like, snaps by your ears, and she's like... Like, they do these crazy noises real quick, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening, you know? Because you're like, all your shit's tingling, and then they're like, and you're just like, what the fuck am I doing? Where am I at, you know? So after that, though, there's this, like, sense of clarity. It's like the best, you know, the best cup of coffee you ever had type of shit. So that's Rape, and I really enjoy Rape. There is no psychoactive component, so it isn't terrifying to me. Combo, I'll send you the picture, Mike, so we can put it in here. I have a picture of my back. Cambo is when they take a stick shaped about the size of a pencil. They light it on fire, blow it out, burn you with it, right? Light it on fire again, burn you again. They do this 5 times on my back, okay? And then scrape out the little burn spots and then rub poison in them, okay?
Nice.
And they put the poison in there, and as soon as first of all, getting burned hurts.
Right.
Like, these motherfuckers are sitting there doing, like, the whole, like, not flinching thing every time. I know it's coming. And every time I'm like, you know, I'm not making the noise, but I mean, my body is, you know. I'm like, God damn. It didn't hurt any less on the 5th one, you know. But they put this poison in there, and as soon as...
How big of a burn spot we talking?
Like a pencil hole, like a pencil.
Okay, just like a pencil, so they don't really like...
pencil eraser.
Okay.
You know, like the width of a pencil. I'll show you the picture after, too. But so I have 5 of them on my back, and they rub this poison in there, and as soon as they hit you with the poison, your body's... You're thrown into, like... You're poisoned. So this specific poison, it makes your head start to get hot. Your head starts to burn like 200 degrees, right? And then, prior to the Cambo, they make you drink like 2 liters of water. Okay. So they know you're going to throw up. Right. You drink like this 2 liters of water and like some type of concoction, like milk and like fucking lemon or some shit. It's disgusting going down, honestly. But you get it down, and then they burn you, they put the poison on you, and they give you a bucket because they know, you know? And your head feels like it's this big. It is actually swollen. Your features swell. Now, it feels like it's out to here because of how numb it is and tingly, but it is actually swollen because I asked, you know, I'm like, am I really this swollen? And they're like, you're swollen, but you're not like, you know, but you start vomiting profusely and it feels terrible, right? It feels like I need to vomit from the bottom of my soul. I have to get this out. And you get it out, and then you also have this like clarity, this very fresh, like you're seeing on 2020, you know? And again, it's just, it's clear-minded. There's nothing fuzzy or psychedelic about it. You're just aware, very, you know, like the best cup of coffee you ever had. The Cambo is much more unpleasant than the Rape.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. But there's a whole throwing up part, you know. So that's the first night I do the mushrooms. It's fine, cool. They take us back to the glamping. It's me and another guy, and then I'm like, all right, so is it just you and I in this whole retreat? And he's like, well, it's not really like a retreat. He's like explaining to me that like, so because we're staying at this huge place, and we're only staying in 2 of these tents, but this is a giant jungle we're in, and I'm like, And it's like behind this huge gate, and I'm like, all right, so this is, and it said certain like this wellness, this name wellness, and I'm like, so are we at this wellness? And he's like, no, we're at this place that rents out a few of these tents.
To
so
the
like
wellness place.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like this smaller company is using this space of this other big place, you know? So, but it's all very unorganized, like I said. And in Peru, it's like you're going to wake up, we have yoga at this time. There's a breath work session at this time. There's a journaling session at this time. There's an intention setting at this time, right? There's ecstatic dance. There's a flower bath. There's this place. It was like, we'll see you at 5. We'll see you for ceremony. And it's like, okay, what do I, how about all day long?
Yeah, what about till 5?
All day long. And they're just like, yeah,
Whatever you want to do.
it's your life. Don't leave. Don't leave. And it's just fucking, so it's bizarre.
So what'd you do?
What do you mean?
All day until 5.
Oh God, dude, just spiraled. Nah, they had these. It was actually in the wellness place we were at was pretty dope. So they had like, they didn't have a whole lot going on, but you know, they had these things called cenotes, which is an underground freshwater system, and they have them throughout Mexico, and it's pretty sick because you can just go get in the water, and there's like people dive through them and they'll do all kind of shit, but it's just fresh water.
Right.
So we'd go get in the water every day and shit like that. But second night, I go there and I do the 4 grams of mushrooms. Didn't trip at all. Not at all. Not at all. Same exact mushrooms. Same exact ones from the night before.
Lemon juice and all.
Yes. Second night, I eat 4 grams. About an hour in, hour and a half in, she's like, how are you? How are you feeling? I'm like, to be honest, I feel nothing. I'm like, I'm cool. And she's like, you want more? And it's like, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So she gives me like probably another 1.5 grams or something. I didn't weigh it. But, so I'm probably on like 5.5 grams. I felt nothing. Okay. Third day. Basically, I don't remember the exact order of the days, but I wake up on one day where we're supposed to do, they told me, and again, it's like this person's telling me one thing, this other guy's telling me another thing. So I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. No one really has it under, there's not a whole lot of organization at this place. So, but they tell me the one night, like, tomorrow, there's no plant medicines. And I'm like, okay. They're like, tomorrow's for integration, rest, whatever. It's like a day off. I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, there's a workshop in the morning. So they have a workshop, which is essentially a guy showing us a PowerPoint on how to grow mushrooms. Exactly that. And, but when he comes to do it, he's like, hey, you're Justin? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you still want to do the Bufo tonight? And I'm like, so Bufo is, okay, for those who don't know, Bufo alvarez, also known as like Sapo or Sapo, also known as 5-MeO DMT, which is a specific type of DMT. So there's certain ones, like I said, that contain DMT, and there's certain different ways to do it. Ayahuasca is drawn out, it's long, goes on for hours, and it's wavy. You're in and out of that psychosis. Bufo is all the psychosis right away. It's right away. So there's ayahuasca, which is like cocaine, and then there's Bufo, which is crack. It's a psychedelic equivalent. It's that extreme of a difference. Honestly, it's even more than that. It's like shooting crack or something. It's like, it's. So I've tried to smoke Bufo once, okay, and this was in Peru. I smoked it, and matter of fact, here I have this journal from when I was in Peru. I haven't looked at this in years, and I looked at it after this time in Mexico just to see how this was, and. Yeah, so this says tomorrow is Sapo Day or Sapo Day, the famous Bufo, 5-MeO DMT, the God molecule. That's what they call it. I am quite nervous about this experience as it is the strongest psychedelic medicine known on the planet. Manuel has done it 12 times and says the best way you can describe it is, and then in quotes, a universal orgasm. I wrote, okay, sign me up.
Yep, I'm in.
Sign me up.
Sign me up twice.
And I was in fear there. And then so my next entry was, Sapo wasn't good for me. It wasn't pleasurable. Very hard to describe any of it at all. I did cease to exist at all for a short time in the beginning. It's inexplainable. I would be willing to try again at some point.
Was that scary? Ceasing to exist, or I guess if you don't exist, you don't feel.
That's the thing. It was a non-experience. There was no experience at all.
There was just nothing.
It was weird. Even the people around me were like, "What was it?" I'm like, oh, "Not what you had."
Nothing.
Because dude, I'd see people smoke it and sound like they're coming. I've seen people smoke it and be like through the whole time, and then when they come out of it, and it only lasts 10, 15 minutes or whatever. When they come out of it, couldn't be happier. Cry tears of happiness. Okay.
Yeah. It sounds like
it. So I wrote. Last thing I wrote about it was would be willing to try again at some point. Well, I tried it again. Okay. Here
come this time?
Huh?
You come this time?
Oh, something happened. It was an experience. And so when the guy's doing the workshop, he's like, "Are you still doing the Bufo tonight?" And I'm like, "I'm not. I wasn't doing the Bufo." And he's like, "Oh, they told me you wanted to do the Bufo." And I'm like, "I mean, I can." And the guy I'm with's like, "You should." And I'm like, because I'm scared.
It's all anyone has to say, though.
I know, bro.
As soon as they say you should, Justin's like, all right.
Yeah, I probably should.
Talk me into it.
Yeah. So that night we go into ceremony, and it's only me and one other guy. And he's not going to smoke the Bufo. He's going to do this whole other thing called Changa, which is like another type of DMT, which I had never even heard of until I was here. And it sounds like this guy is like their, kooky chemist who's like making the stuff or something. But he's like, because he's like, yeah, sometimes I mix the Changa with the weed. I call it Mary Changa. And I'm like, are you just like out here doing shit, bro? I swear to God, he was like a bro. Like he was like this guy. I mean, he also had an accent, so that makes it a little better. But it's like if they didn't have an accent, it would have just felt wild.
It'd
but
just be like me being there.
Yeah, and again, it's not even necessarily a Mexican accent. It's just like an accent. It will work. But so we go into the ceremony, and this guy's gonna smoke the Mary Changa. Very mild, very chill. Especially because it's in joint form. Okay, so DMT, you have to vaporize to really break through. Now, there's smoking DMT, and then there's breaking through on DMT. And they are drastically different things. And if you don't know if you've ever broken through, you haven't. It's that simple. It's like you are transported elsewhere. I've done it, I don't know how many times. 5 to 10 where I've broken through. While smoking synthetic DMT and stuff like that. With the Bufo, didn't work last time. So this time, he comes over to me. He's got the Bufo, and he's like, "You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah." In my head, and so the number one thing you're supposed to do is trust, love, surrender, right? I am a ball of fear and anxiety. I can't hide the fact that I am terrified at the potential here, okay? Because I've had some very difficult DMT experiences. Got stuck in the glitch. You know about that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay? Turned into a dragon on ayahuasca. Right? I've had these rough experiences that were brutally rough. And I go into this with the fear of them. And this takes the cake, brother. Rich.
Takes the cake
this
from
is
all the other times.
Yeah. I was worried about turning into a dragon, and I was worried about getting stuck in the glitch. I ended up like doing both.
You were a dragon stuck in the glitch.
I don't know that I was a dragon. I only say that I was a dragon because so when in Peru, when I felt like I was going to turn into a dragon, that's when the screaming started. The guttural from the bottom of my soul screaming. I did plenty of that this time around. Okay. And so that's why I said that's.
Did you record any of this since you could have your phone out?
No. I said it when I got done. I would have given anything to have that recorded, only to show. And because when I said that, this guy was like, "That's just your ego." Because these guys, this is what people do too. I love the guy. Some of these people at these retreats, they just use so much of the lingo that it's like, who are you?
Right.
Who are you? They're just saying shit that's it's like, I don't know. Some of the people who are like, claim to have the least ego, right? Or like speaking from a place of like up here.
Right.
It's like, but I'm like, it's not even ego. I want to show people like that's even the reaction I had, because no one can experience what I did unless you do it, right?
Right.
You can't, the language is a reducing valve for raw experience. It's a beautiful quote. Language is a reducing valve for a raw experience. That's just a fact. We can try our best, right? But you can't actually be there. You can't experience it unless you experience it.
Never do it justice.
Yeah, and not even close. You have to lower it into a lower dimension to even speak about it. You have to, because language falls short when it comes to this, okay? So anyways, I hit the Bufo. I hit it like a pussy, okay?
Right,
Kinda. Hit it lay down, because that's the whole thing. You're supposed to hit it and lay right back. You have to have your pillow set up because you're going to lay back and you're gone. Okay? I hit it. I lay back. I'm not gone. My whole shit's vibrating. I'm in the waiting room. Okay? I'm there the whole time. I don't break through. Chilling, feeling it, thinking about it. Mostly feeling it. They tell you try not to think. Just feel. Which is a big thing they say. Try not to think about it. Just feel it. Which is beautiful to me. I love the concept of that. But I'm a heady guy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you're thinking.
I can never stop it thinking. So, I hit it the one time. He lights his Mary Changa joint. They're like smoking the joint. He's playing some music. I'm laying back. 15 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by, something like that. And he's like, do you want to hit it again? And I'm like, yeah. Obviously, right? So he brings it over, and this time I'm like, I'm gonna really do it.
You dive in.
I'm diving in. So he lights up this meth pipe, which is essentially what it is. You have to get it vaporized hot, and it because it's like this crystalline form, and so I take this monster hit, this iron lung hit. I lay back, I blow out, and as I blow out, my consciousness, and again, I already know I'm going to sound crazy. I already know this is going to do zero justice to what I experienced. I'm only going to try to give it to you how I got it. I blow out my consciousness. My body's not there. I'm not there. I'm not in the room. And it all happens so fast. Light years, right? This is like all this stuff's happening at a speed that we could not comprehend. And I blow it out, and my consciousness has this distinct feeling of collapsing on itself, into itself, in a way that it was terrifying and genuinely miserable. And then as soon as I'm out of that, which I'm only in for 10 seconds, right? I'm transported to a glitch. To what I describe as a glitch.
Your favorite places.
Yeah. So I say a glitch because I have a simulation theory and I go into this with that. So maybe that's what's curating this or whatever. But my consciousness is stuck in a hellscape. I'm transported from this little shack in Mexico to a hell dimension. Okay. And I'm stuck. And there's a very distinct feeling of something else being there.
Good, bad, just something.
One of the scariest parts is it didn't feel benevolent. I'm not going to say it was malevolent, but it didn't feel kind. It didn't feel like love and light, brother. I can tell you that. I've never, ever, ever, ever had a more painful experience in my life, Rich.
Because you've had some painful experiences.
Bro,
so.
I swear to God, I get transported to a hellscape where my consciousness, again, there's no... Because someone asked me, like, what do you mean painful? Was it, like, physically painful? I'm like, all the painful. That's the thing. I'm trying to describe...
Physically, emotionally,
all
spiritually.
Of it. Mentally. Every pain you can imagine.
All in one.
For, like, the whole universe. All in one. It was, like... It was the most anguish I've ever felt. I don't even know if I've ever used that word, bro.
You're not selling it real well. It's not making me want to do it.
I'm giving the straight facts. That's the thing. A lot of people, that's the thing. A lot of people talk about, Mike Tyson. If you look up right now, Mike Tyson Toad, you hear about him smoking bufo and meeting God, and it dissolved his ego and it changed his life for the better. You hear you can look up testimonials for it that are beautiful. Anyways, not me. Me?
You met the devil.
Justin, I met the devil. Okay? And that's what it feels like, bro. And so my consciousness is stuck in this thing where it's like things are moving and happening, but also not. And everything's ubiquitous. Everything is the same thing. And it's pain and anguish and agony. And it has a distinct feeling like forever. The feeling is eternal.
Eternal.
That's genuinely the feeling, bro. Yeah, I know. So listen, when I come to a minute later, 2 minutes later,
an eternity later.
Yeah, right. When it didn't feel like I was there for an eternity. It felt like that dimension or wherever I was eternal.
Right.
I don't know what that means.
Never ending.
Yeah, forever.
Because there
was no beginning and no ending.
Because here you have, a beginning and an end. Stars explode. Stars are born.
Right.
Galaxies are made and destroyed.
The concept of no beginning is harder for us to get than no end. It's you can't wrap the brain around it, but that's what it felt like, right? And then so I'm transported back into this shack, and I'm like, so I stand up. I stand up immediately, and the first thing out of my mouth is a fucking roar. Bro, I am going. Bro, I am dude, like I've never screamed before, except for ayahuasca, right? But this is worse, and I do it for longer. Bro, and I'm back, by the way. I'm here. I'm in this realm.
For the
I'm
most
back.
part.
I'm back to this body, and I am going. And then by like the end of my scream, sometimes, dude, I'd like fall over. You know, like I am, dude. It felt like in the beginning, it didn't even feel like I was choosing to do it. It felt like, oh, you're screaming now. Now your body's screaming. It felt like either something was using me to scream, or it came from something or somewhere other than me. I know it sounds crazy. So I'm screaming, and then I take over the screaming consciously. And here's what's terrifying, bro. Sometimes when ayahuasca I was screaming, didn't know why. Called it turning into a dragon because that's what it felt like in my consciousness. I didn't see scales. I didn't actually fly around. It felt very distinctly for some reason, you're about to turn into a dragon before I even screamed. So I made that correlation after, right? Didn't know why I was screaming. They say you're healing for your whole bloodline. 7 generations before, 7 generations after. This trauma might not even be yours, okay? This is what they say. Don't know. Not claiming it to be true. Once I realize I'm screaming, and so there's only 2 other people in the ceremony, my buddy, who I've just met out there, and the shaman, or the guy, this guy. And so I'm not flailing or being violent, but I'm moving, okay? I can't deal with the weight of that knowledge, right? And it's like, dude, I am screaming, bro. I'm glad we were in the middle of nowhere where this ceremony took place, because the cops would have been called.
100%.
It sounded like I was being murdered while giving birth to a demon.
Being raped.
Yeah, exactly, bro. My soul was being raped by Satan, dude. And Rich, it's the most brutal thing I've ever done by a long shot. I'd rather watch my dad die over and over again for like a decade. I'd rather kill my dad. Bro, it was the worst thing I've ever experienced, unequivocally.
And people don't know, but that's saying a lot. Some people don't know.
This is unequivocally the worst thing I've ever experienced. And I am screaming what I thought was about 10 minutes. They tell me later it was 30. 30 minutes, bro. They can't stop me from screaming.
Are they trying to stop you?
No.
They're trying to talk to you? They just letting you go?
They're saying little things like trust, surrender. And I'm like, fuck you.
I just came back from hell, dude.
Fuck you. You have no fucking clue. Fuck your singing. Fuck your songs. Fuck your prayers.
Right. Devil's
fuck this
coming.
shack.
We're
The
all
devil's
fucked.
here. You're a devil worshiper. Fuck you. And it's like, there's part of me that's like wondering shit like that. I'm like, because here's the thing. Well, let me finish. So after towards the end, I would like, at the beginning, every exhale was a scream. It was, and then when I finally expelled it all, I mean, dude, it was
For 30 minutes.
30 minutes, right? But look, for the first 15, it's every exhale. After that, there's like some breaths in between. And I'm starting to go, you got to be fucking kidding me. I'm not paying those guys no mind. I don't give a fuck about what they're saying.
Right.
I don't give a fuck about any human being right now, bro. It's like bigger than that.
Yeah, there's bigger things out there.
Genuinely. There's bigger fish to fry, gentlemen. Gentlemen, we need to have a sit down.
Right. We need to fucking prepare or something.
We got to do something, dude.
We're just sitting here like everything's okay.
So I do this on the night of, I'm not a big like person about the moon and all this, but it was like a black moon this night.
Black moon.
I don't know what it means. It was a new moon. We only have 2 black moons a year or something, or 2. I don't know. Some significance about the moon. It was this night.
So gateway to hell was open.
Probably, dude. That's what it feels like. It was a black moon. The gateway to hell was open. I got sent there. I don't know why yet. I've left with way more questions than answers, right? I'm frustrated.
Of course.
I'm trying to integrate this experience, but how do you integrate having gone to hell? It's not like, this is the thing. Someone's like, well, maybe it was like, your version of hell, like your fear. And I'm like, I couldn't imagine this in my wildest dreams. I couldn't make that up if I wanted to. I don't care what chemicals you put in my brain. I was transported, Rich, to a different dimension, right? Which felt to me like a hellscape. Your consciousness is there. It doesn't leave you. It doesn't make you fuzzy. If you've never heard Terrence McKenna talk about it, which I know you have, if you do yourself a favor and look up Terrence McKenna, he was one of like the original psychonauts and did a lot of research in DMT and mushrooms and held huge public lectures. I mean, he was a genius and kind of a Looney Tune.
It's the one and the same.
Right, exactly. You know? And so I used to hear him talk about DMT all the time. There's something going on there. He talks about it being a portal to a different dimension, and he meets these other entities. He calls them like machine elves. But the way he describes it, he's like, these entities are there, and he's like, you can't describe it with our words, but I'll do my best. He's like, it's like a jewel, like an emerald, like a flashing, pulsating, self-dribbling basketball that's like an emerald, right? That can sing structures into existence. Dude, it's like that's it. You're trying to explain things that like our senses fail us, right? So, but you're feeling all these things, and it's like, I screamed for 30 minutes. I am so sad that this dimension exists. In a way that I'm not saying this is hell as far as like heaven and hell, Christianity. You gotta be
shitty
moral.
dimension.
Who knows? Or shitty whatever. I was crying. Which I cried. I'll get to that in a minute. I was screaming.
Until I cry.
Yes. I was screaming. So on ayahuasca, I was screaming and didn't know why, which is a weird feeling. This time I knew why, which is a scarier feeling. Because I'm like, I'm screaming and having this reaction that I've never had in my entire life times 10, times 100, because I know that dimension exists without a doubt. Now, again, will I ever see it again? Hopefully not.
Right.
Do we all go there when we die? Hopefully not.
Is it random? Do we go to random
That's what
dimensions?
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
If you die on the night a black moon is in the sky.
That's what I'm saying. I don't claim to know. I know that I've seen over 30 people smoke bufo, and I've never seen anyone come close to having such an adverse reaction. And I don't need to even ask them all. You would know. You know what I'm saying?
No one came back screaming for 30 minutes.
You would know.
Followed by crying for an hour.
Now, the shaman, when I asked him, I said, have you seen this? Because I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
Right, what
This
dimension
is
was that?
exorcism? What the fuck is going on? And he's like, I have seen it. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is going on, you know? He's just like, trust it, you know? And I'm like, bro, you're not saying nothing. You're not saying anything to me.
Some political talk.
Some
Like, we
spiritual,
trust it.
yes,
Like, what?
spiritual, political talk, which is like, it can happen. And so after about 30 minutes, and then again, it would be like and I'm like exhausted, obviously. My voice is like hoarse. I'm exhausted. And then like towards the end of the 30, and then it would still be like, like there was a few more left in there, bro. And it was like coming from the exhale, you know, it was just like, it would hit me. Like it needed to come out, right? Needed, gutturally. It sounds so crazy, bro. And at the end of it, I'm like sitting back down, and I get let a couple more out, and they're like longer in between. And I say out loud, I'm just so sad. I just feel so sad is what I said. I go, I just feel so sad. And the guy next to me goes, cry. And that's all it took for me to just start wailing, bro. Like I've never cried before. I'm almost going to tear up now talking about it, but like I've never cried before like this, bro. And I just wept for not even me, bro, like humanity. Like the fact that dimension exists at all, even if no one ever sees it again, and it was that one momentary instance, I'm still that sad about it. Like
Just
genuinely.
the fact that it's there.
It's the fact that it was there. And I know for, like, you can't tell me shit. Like, you can say whatever you want to me with your science, adorable.
That's cute.
Adorable,
Real
bro.
cute.
Adorable. Police, taxes, jobs, adorable. Bro, we have no idea what's going on. And
No.
there's something out there called the God molecule. And the fact that researchers aren't just sprinting towards this, sprinting towards it, blows my mind. Any curious person, now listen, this is what I'm saying, like, at this moment in my life, I will never touch DMT again.
Or maybe they have researched it and they figured out, like, that shit needs to stay there. Let's just leave that alone.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that it's too big to even do that with. Like, if someone actually goes there and has the experience, like, I don't think that you can. It's unlike anything I've ever done. It is the worst experience I've ever had. I'm sure people were expecting me to come on here and be like, yeah, it was fucking incredible. Go
Right.
do it. I'm not saying do it. I'm not saying don't. Those are the 2 cardinal rules of psychedelics. You never tell someone to do them. Never tell someone not to.
And they're not always going to be good. You know, you're gonna have
That's the thing. So I've had challenging trips, and you're able to like usually take something away.
Mhm.
Sometimes more than a good trip. You know, you're able to really learn a lesson. I don't know how to integrate having gone to hell. I just, it's like, there was no, like, I talked to somebody about it who I'm actually going to have one. I'm actually looking forward to him coming on soon because he's done ayahuasca a few times and he's broken through on D.M.T and stuff like that. And he said he's been to hell, but his hell was like he saw his whole family dying over and over. Right?
So everybody's hell different.
Well, here's the thing, bro.
Probably.
I would have given anything to see my family die over and over.
Just because you could see your family.
My family didn't exist. There is no family. There's no Justin. There's no body. There's consciousness and pain and agony and anguish, and it's stuck there. And it's not fluctuating. It's just it's all one thing, ubiquitously. Pain and anguish. Not wavering at all. Hellfire would have been a reprieve. Seeing my family die over and over would have been a reprieve. And so, like, you're, like, back to normal after, like, 30, 45 minutes or something.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, have a good night. And it's like, you go back to your tent.
Get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, get a good night's sleep. I'm like, guys, what in the fuck, bro? It felt a little bit like my biggest fear is that hell is real, that it is where I went, and that it's where we all go when we die. This is my biggest fear. Straight up put it on the table. My biggest fear in the world is that when we die here, all of us, our consciousness goes to that. And not even for a nefarious reason, just because that's how it works.
Just that's next up. Next in line.
That's just how it goes. And I'm terrified of that. I have no proof of that. I hope that's not the case. That's a theory based on one of my many theories.
The day you do die, you're going to be so afraid the last 10 minutes.
Based on complete fear. But I have no evidence to that. I have no evidence that DMT has anything to do with when you die. They say it's released when you die or something like that. But, like, I don't know. I'm not claiming to know any of that. I know for a fact that either there's different dimensions, different entities, or we're in a simulation, and that could also work with the others. But it felt like, you're right. This is what it felt like when I was in that glitch this time. It felt like, yeah, you're right. What are you gonna? Now what, dumbass? It genuinely felt like that. And again, I didn't see any other things or beings or entities, but I felt the presence. Like, you can feel someone looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the presence was there. And I don't know if it was one or many. I couldn't tell you. But there was more than none. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
And it was just very like...
You know when you're not alone.
No words, right? Because it's all feelings. But it was very like...
Yep.
And not even like for a reason, too. That's another thing, like... We as humans, we like want to seek a just system, right? Like, I'm not immoral enough to go to hell. It's like, who says it has anything to do with morality, you dumbass?
That's just up next.
Yeah, maybe only the pedophiles get to heaven.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean?
They're all
Maybe
running around kids up there.
it's some extremely immoral, terrible thing.
Everyone gets a 5-year-old at the gate. Like, here's your 5-year-old. Here's your 5-year-old.
Yeah, it's like, so I'm just left with so many questions. And again, not even about me. It's like, what's going on? Why does this exist? Why does the portal exist? Why does DMT exist at all? That we have found it, that we can smoke a toad's venom. We can get a toad's venom onto a glass, try it, smoke it, and be blasted off to a different dimension where people say they meet God more than me, right? And I met the opposite of that. And they say the absence of God
or what if that was God?
They say the absence of God. Well, right, exactly. That's my fear.
You think
that's
God's
the fear.
all love
that's
and shit, but what if it's not?
That's all our hopes. Exactly.
You know?
We put all our hopes into it. That's the thing, too, when you talk about afterlife or different dimensions with people. A lot of times when they say, this is what I think, they're saying, this is what I hope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to differentiate those two. If I really hope for something, it's easier to think that. It's called confirmation bias.
I think and hope different things when it comes to the afterlife. I hope there's a heaven, but I don't think there is.
Right.
You know,
So you can distinct. Yeah.
I hope there is. That would be great.
Right.
But if you ask my honest opinion,
Right.
no, I don't
A
think
lot of times
we're
people
all,
don't want to differentiate
right,
that.
streets of gold and we all get
Yeah.
wings, and it's like that just sounds
Yeah.
like some childish fairy tale we all made
Sounds
up.
adorable.
Yeah, it sounds great. You know, but no, I hope so.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
Yeah. So I had a few other experiences out there that were not even worth talking about. The only one worth talking about, bro,
It's going to hell.
is the Bufo. Yeah. I mean, it's the reason I went. This is another thing. I didn't even plan on doing Bufo. And the whole reason I went, looking at it, was 100% that experience. Now, I feel grateful for having had it, and I don't know why. I have no idea. Again, nothing good came from it. Other than, I guess, knowing I'm not there now.
Right? Yeah. Be a little more grateful.
But
to be
that's like
here, I
that's
guess,
like
or-
going like I kidnapped you and beat the fuck out of you for a week, but now I let you go.
Right,
Isn't that nice?
yeah.
Now you're not getting beat,
Right,
huh?
right.
It's like, okay, I wouldn't call it a good experience. Like, yeah, I'm happy I'm not getting beat
Right.
now.
I'll go home and appreciate everything
Right,
you have.
right. You're welcome. Like, so it's just hard that you can integrate, and I know I'm still in the integration process, right? It's going to take me maybe forever,
Maybe forever.
or maybe never, right? Yeah, it's like, but again, on a mushroom trip, an acid trip, a peyote trip, which the peyote was fun. That was cool. It was kind. I liked the peyote. The mescaline, it was like a lot more calm than the bufo, but I just don't know how you take anything from that and put it into life unless you do some serious reaching, which is I'm sure a lot of people, when I try to talk to them about it, are going to do and have done, and it's what I would do to someone. But other than the reaching, it's like I've seen over 30 people do it, and I've never seen anyone have to go there. So I'm like, why me? I know I'm not the most fearful in the group. No way. I know I'm not the toughest in the group, so it had to show me, right? I know I'm not the one with the most trauma. Like, there's nothing that would, in my human brain, justify putting me in hell. And here's the thing: if it put me there, if I went there because of my fear, fuck you.
Right. Did
It
they
seems
just
a little
show you your
extreme.
biggest fear?
It seems, huh?
You know, did they just want to show you your biggest fear of
Maybe
hell existing?
Maybe. So that's something, because that is my idea of it, right? I've had that similar glitch experience on DMT, but just again,
Yeah.
and harder,
one more time.
and it's like I'm gonna read another passage real quick from the ayahuasca.
I mean, the only way to, you just gotta, I guess, keep going back, learn a little more each time.
Well, like I said, at this point, if I even smell it, dude, I got PTSD. If I even smell DMT, it's a very distinct smell. If I even smell it right now, dude, I'll probably start screaming. just to reopen the screams from hell, dude. It was the most brutal, agonizing, and painful experience I've ever done. And yet I do feel grateful for having seen it. I don't know why. I'm a curious person. Like, to the core of me, it will kill the cat. It will.
100%.
It will kill this cat. But I just like, if I had read this prior to going,
Probably wouldn't.
I probably wouldn't have went. So this is a few years ago in Peru. The ayahuasca number 2 is the one that sent me.
The dragon?
Yes. I did it 3 times out there. This was the one that was notable.
Okay.
I wrote in all caps, what, period, the, period, fuck, period. And that's, and then the next words are, unbelievable, otherworldly, okay, a literal, completely different realm. Like, I wrote that years ago. So, like, and I'm sure of it when I'm writing it, right? And in a year, I'll be less sure. It's like a dream. You can't really hold on to it. It's it's a lot like a dream state in that you can't hold on to it. A literal, completely different realm. We are in some type of simulation. There's no, like, wavering there.
You know it.
I know. I thought for sure I would end up in a psych ward. I also really believed I may die because I didn't know if the human body was physically capable of traveling to other realms. I was beyond terrified that I wouldn't make it back. I did not think my heart would still be able to beat, and even if it did, I was severely worried about my mental state. Basically psychosis. I was crazy. I wanted no parts of what was happening. So I was resistant, which they say don't do.
I don't think the body can, but your consciousness obviously did.
What?
Travel to another realm. It sounds like
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the body.
your body was still here,
right. The
but
body couldn't have
mentally
done
you were there.
it. Yeah.
So,
So yeah, this is just like when I took my dose and it hit me in 10 to 15 minutes, which is like weird. It shouldn't even hit you that fast. it hit me, and then I started to have like flashbacks of when I've smoked DMT, because in ayahuasca you drink it and it's longer. But yeah, it was brutal. This is me turning into a dragon. And a pterodactyl demon is what it sounded like. I wrote. I mean, I'm just not okay. Primal battle cries. It did not come from my body. This is bigger than me, bigger than my entire lifeline. I sounded like a dragon, a pterodactyl, a demon, 1,000 years worth of pain and trauma. I felt like a conduit. I have never made noises like this in my life.
And this
Fast
was
forward to Mexico.
worse than that.
This was worse than this, yeah. It doesn't seem humanly possible. This is the most insane thing that has ever happened to me.
So far.
I let out about 4 or 5 of these battle roars. That's the difference. I did about 4 or 5 there, as opposed to 30 minutes of not being okay. I said I didn't feel responsible for them. Yeah, everyone in the room was having a reaction to me, obviously. I made it through. I weathered hell. My brain was deconstructed, and I had to hold on and put it back together. If nothing else, mental fortitude. I faced Dante's Inferno. Yeah, it's what it felt like then too. So it's just like, yeah, that guy Scott the next day goes, Justin, I don't know how, but somehow your trip is the craziest thing I've ever been through. Because I was just wilding the fuck out. But it's just interesting to read that I had such a brutal experience then, and then I went back and I didn't do ayahuasca, but I still did DMT and the stronger form of it. And I just, as a cautionary tale, I just want to let people know, it is not for the weak. It is not. And someone was like, wow, you're so brave. And I'm like, I'm not. If I had known I'd have went there, I'm staying home.
No way,
I'm
dude.
not even leaving my house. There's nothing brave. It's like, well, you got through. I didn't have a choice.
Right. I did that by accident.
Yeah.
I stumbled into that
I
realm.
accidentally
Stumbled
did
into
that.
that shit.
You can't accidentally get a Medal of Honor.
Right.
I'm like, this was not. So yeah, that was my Bufo experience. That was my Mexico experience. The peyote, again, was not even much to talk about really yet. It's
Well, yeah, compared to going to hell.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's been hard to integrate that, or like even think about. It's been hard to really think about without spiraling or getting crazy, because I'm left with so many questions. Again, why is this even possible? Is a big one. Why is this possible? Much less, why are we here? Who's created this? What's going on? Why is all this happening? What dimensions are there?
Who's
Is
in
that
charge around here?
Yeah, who's in charge?
What
Could I
the
please
fuck?
speak to a manager? Could I please speak to the manager, bro? That's what it felt like. It felt like I got the dimensional manager, and they were like a cunt.
Right. They were like, yep, here it is.
Yeah.
Sorry if you don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any, I don't know what I was rambling about just a second ago, but I don't have any desire to do that at this point.
Never again? Or you think
I'll
it'll
do
go
it again.
away after?
I know I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I say right now, never again. Someone will convince me, or I'll read some more tests. So this is another thing. When I got back, my grandfather died while I was out there. So my grandfather's been old.
Before or after you did that?
After. I probably killed him.
It was probably him.
It was
probably him you felt there with you.
Yeah.
Fuck, Justin.
I had the Bufo experience before he died. But yeah, so they tell me that when I'm out there, and I have to kind of compartmentalize that. Right. And then the hell thing, I had to compartmentalize because that's too heavy. So when I got back home, it all hit me at once, bro. And I couldn't get out of bed. I was done. Now my travel got fucked up.
Nothing else matters. We're all going to hell anyway. I'll just be in bed till I die.
Dude, it wasn't even that linear. It was just like exhaustion to the point of like, yeah, I don't feel like discussing. I don't feel like talking. I don't feel like doing. No gym, no side work, no nothing, bro. No work, no nothing. I didn't do a fucking thing. And it's just like, the weight of the fucking world.
Maybe you were sent there to save us all.
I'm the savior. We're fucked if
You're a messiah.
Oh, we're fucked if that's the case. But
Our messiah is just in bed in the fetal position.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll chasing the opposite of that experience.
I mean, yeah.
Do it again 5 years from now, maybe when I'm 40 or something. But as of right now, I want nothing to do with it. And so my grandfather is dead. That's new. And my grandmother, she can't be by herself, so we gotta like get her in a place. So we found a place, which is a nice place. It's like small. There's like 5 people there, so it's not like this giant facility. There's like one nurse there 24/7 or something. But you can come and get her as you want. You know, go get her, take her to lunch, go visit whenever you want. It's like a cage-free grandma place. You know,
roam free.
Yeah. A pasture-raised grandma place. So. And also, she's getting dementia. So, dude, imagine like being married to someone for 60 years, right? And then they die, but you have dementia. So you got to be retold every day. You want to talk about your own hellscape? Like my mom having to like retell her mom that her husband's dead over and over.
Every day she wakes up and she's like, "Where is he?" I'm like, he's still on his Florida trip.
Yeah, basically.
He's come back tomorrow when you don't remember.
Yeah. And honestly, the more confused she gets, the better it is because of that. Like, and even like we don't, having to rip her out of the home she's been in for so long, she don't even know that's her home. She'll say that it's not her home. She'll be going through her closet like, these aren't my clothes, So it's easier to. But we haven't broken the news to her. His funeral's coming up this Tuesday. My mom asked me to do a speech. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I hope he ain't hell. I was just there. It's not good.
Sucks.
That feels like a lot of pressure. And then it made me realize I barely even knew my grandfather. It's like another weird realization to have.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I know him kinda, but not even as good as one of his friends would, right? Like he was just an old grandfather my whole life.
So you didn't know your grandfather?
Nah, I don't really know the guy. You got grandparents, Mike?
They're all dead.
Hilarious.
They were all dead when I was young. I had to do that before I was 12, I think. I lost them all. So, it's probably why I'm, like, less sentimental about my own family.
Yeah.
I feel like all the ones I would have liked are just gone. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Did you know your grandparents well?
I mean, we definitely hung out when I was young, like with my grandmother on my dad's side. Like, the grandfather was, I think, dead before I was born, so I never met him. And then my mother's side, I know my grandmother, but she remarried, so I don't think I ever met her father. So technically, I've only met 2 out of 4 ever. And then, they both died when I was young.
And this is the thing, I've had this one for 35 years, right?
Right.
But I'm like, what do I know about him?
No, I mean,
I really don't.
That's fair.
Honestly,
Honestly,
I just know him from like sitting in a chair, watching old war stuff.
Right.
He was a Marine, I know that.
To be fair, like the people before us, wasn't much to them. No offense.
Yeah.
They didn't really have time. They didn't have time to be like,
right.
Yeah, it was just like I have to go to work or my kids are gonna die.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's kind of what it seems like. It's just very like not surface level, but very like there's not a whole lot of deep.
What are your hobbies? Who was the guy that was sitting in the truck that would get drunk? That was in one of our past.
Chris's grandfather.
Chris grandfather. Okay, cool. Yeah, so like that's the type of thing that like the older generation did. They would just like go be by themselves. Or like make a wood shop.
Go drink at the wood shop. My grandfather would be out in his wood shop, genuinely, drinking beer or inside watching sports or watching an old war movie.
Like, everything else you'd just be considered a pussy.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Right, having feelings or any like deep thought out, things.
Talking about that generation.
Yeah. He was just saying, which I agree with, like, and not on everyone, but just a lot of times, like, he's like, they don't have a whole lot to them. They were like, I'm working, providing, I'm going to have a family. I might not love them, but I'm going to have them.
My great-grandfather, we found out, I don't know if I told you. So my grandfather, 10 years ago or so, takes that 23andMe. Comes up, he has 4 half-sisters up in New York. And we're like, what the fuck is that? So we start digging. We find out my great-grandfather had a family, 4 daughters, and then up and left in the middle of the night with his mistress, my sweet old Nana, and then moved down here and had 2 more kids, my Aunt Kathleen.
It's so interesting to think about our grandparents when they were young. Like, damn, you were probably bad.
Oh, they're real bad.
Yeah, like you were just regular people. They're all old and sweet now, and it's like, maybe not.
Oh, I've heard, well, I won't say. But yeah, I've heard some stories.
See, my grandfather, it's like, someone was like, well, maybe what's one of the lessons he taught you? And I'm like, I don't have a lot of anecdotes. We didn't, like, again, there's not a whole lot of experiences him and I did together. So, yeah, I've just been stressed out about this
Honestly,
speech.
I learned more of, like, how not to be.
Ooh, like a cautionary tale.
Like, that's what I've taken more away from is, like, especially when it comes to, like, how I raise my kids. Like,
well, I can't start the speech like, let me tell you what not to do. Whatever this fucking guy did.
I've thought about it, and because I don't know why, but sometimes I think about when certain people pass away and how I feel about them, and that's how I would start it. I would start it how I would say, like, everyone always comes up here and says, "Oh, I had the best grandfather in the world growing up." I didn't. Like, not growing up. Like, but
he wasn't a bad grandfather though. He was just, you know.
we
just
didn't
there.
understand each other.
Yeah, but that's not
You
even the
know,
case.
you
That's
know.
not even the case.
So, but we've learned to understand each other, and I've
Yeah.
watched him grow a
Right,
lot
right,
the
right,
last
right.
decade
Yeah.
because, you know, he was a Baltimore City cop in the 60s and 70s,
Yeah.
you know, so he's just, when I get tattoos or I come home with my nipples pierced, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
You know, and didn't understand me, and then
yeah, classic grandparent shit.
right, but he started too, you know, and he really has grown. As for everyone in my family, he's grown more
Wow.
than anyone else that I've seen.
That's incredible.
Especially for his age.
Especially old dog, new tricks.
Yes, it's super hard for, you know, when somebody's been that way for
Yeah.
6 decades.
Yeah. Right.
You know, to come to a different understanding of
So
stuff.
my grandfather, that's the thing. He was like pretty under. It wasn't like he was rough. There was nothing bad about him, but there was just like you said, not a lot to him. It was just like not. He was just kind of there. You know, he's like doing what he was supposed to do, right? You
Working
know, he's like
home.
praying to God, raising the
Right.
family, serve the country.
There's nothing else to do. There was no Netflix. There was no
Miller
like,
Lite,
you know,
sports,
right?
fuck.
Like,
Yeah. They kind of got left behind by the internet, you know. My
Yeah.
grandparents, so that's nice to see too. Like, because I had another set of grandparents who were like hip to the internet,
right.
and I definitely would rather be hip to the internet,
I mean,
only
yeah.
because you get left in the dust. I mean, there's this built-in obsolescence with technology and old people. There's like
Yes.
a built-in separation because it's also new, and then you just stop learning it. So then it's like,
And quick. Like,
right.
Like, it came
Yeah.
quick. Like,
back in the day, it was like you learn stuff from your elders. Now kids are like, this fuck doesn't even know how to TikTok.
Right.
Dumbass. The fuck do I need to
dude.
build a fire for?
Right. If I need help with something, I get my 9-year-old. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, fix this.
Exactly.
And he fixes it real fast.
So, yeah, maybe I'll just get up there and be like, hell is real.
Right.
And we're all going.
He's definitely there, dude. He's having the worst time
In fact,
right
we're
now.
all there. We just don't know it yet. Yeah. So, I went to hell, and now I'm like having to give a fuck about being to work one time.
Pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Make sure you pay your taxes
Exactly.
before you go to hell in a few years.
Mm-hmm.
That's something.
Yeah. So,
Well,
I'm chilling for a while.
Yeah, no more.
I'm chilling.
Just gonna sit here and try to cope with the idea of
Yeah, and here's the thing too. Like, so I've been chilling with psychedelics for a while anyway, as you know. I mean, it's
Right.
like I'm not even inclined to do them much, and I hear that from people a lot. When they get older, like you don't meet a lot of old hip like trippy people,
right. Yeah.
and when you ask them why, they're like, well, I don't need them anymore. Like, or I learned, you know.
Mhm.
It showed me what it needed to show me. Like I've heard more than one person say that because like I know they used to trip, now they don't, and I'm like, hey, why don't you trip anymore? And they'll be like, yeah, I just don't feel the need. I'm not drawn to, because it's like at some point you feel drawn to, and at some point you don't.
For me,
Don't
I just
force it, I guess.
For me, it doesn't matter. There's nothing I can do about it.
What?
Anything. I can't do nothing about nothing, dude. Like when I die, I'm gonna go where I go, and whatever's
As
gonna
far
happen,
as after death, sure,
you know.
sure,
But like, I guess while I'm here, like
you can
Yeah.
change stuff here.
I guess mushrooms taught me a lot while I was tripping when I was younger. But that was just fixing a lot of learned behavior again from my
But that's
elders.
important. But that's
You
important.
know,
yeah.
like
But that's
having
important.
tempers and not
Mm-hmm.
stopping to understand if, you know, because back then if you're upset, they're like, I don't give a fuck what you're upset about. Like,
Yeah.
wipe your fucking tears, take
Right.
off your dress, like, and get back to work or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like this morning, I'm at a gymnastics competition, our second one. First one, everyone competes, we kill it, everything's good. Well, then my best kid comes in crying. And for an hour, I'm like, bro, let's go, get out there. And he's in tears and he won't go out there.
Just anxiety.
I guess.
You
I guess
didn't
he was
ask?
scared. Yeah, he's like, I'm scared. I'm like, of what? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I just feel like everyone's looking at me. And I'm like, dude, straight up, no one cares.
Yeah.
I said,
No
everyone's here to
one's
watch their
concerned
kid.
about you.
So it's like, but that's not how my father would have done it. Like, my father would have fucking grabbed me by the throat and fucking thrown me out there
Yeah.
and been like, get the fuck out there.
Right.
So now it's like, I spend an hour just like
Yeah.
trying to fucking get it under control. And it got better when his parents went away because his parents were getting real upset, arguably so. You know, he spent a lot of time and money getting him here, and now he won't go out and compete.
Right.
And he kills it. He fucking, even today, he didn't even warm up, beat everybody by 2 points. In gymnastics, that's huge. But it's like, you stay calm. Like, you know,
Yeah.
hear him out.
It's
they're
interesting
people.
that removing his parents like changed the atmosphere a bit.
Parents are just more emotionally invested, I guess.
Well, that and the kid is used to a role
right.
in certain of those high stress scenarios with parents, right? And that role is what you know what I mean.
Right.
You just like learn behavior in opposition to that energy. So yeah, to change that and be like, hey,
they got to a point to where it was like, all right, I'm not fucking asking you anymore, and you could see him get more upset. And I'm like, hey,
yeah.
I'm like, I got this.
This isn't gonna help,
right? I'm like, I got
it's
this.
like when someone's scared and nervous,
You
you
know.
can't just be like, you fucking
Right.
idiot,
Pussy,
get out there.
Right? So just it took some time, but you just explain it to them.
Yeah, the thing that kills me is when parents go like, my dad raised me that way and I turned out just fine. It's like,
did you?
and here's the thing, and even if you did, God forbid it's better for your kid.
Right,
I
dude.
just don't get that mentality, The people that get stuck on the like you said, my dad would have done it way different. It's like, but you don't have to.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, you turned out fine.
A fight broke out of the gym a couple weeks ago
Love
because
that.
there was this parent talking
Love
to his
some drama.
daughter a little aggressively, not even close to the way my father talked to me. Not even close. Nowhere on the same planet. Well, people started making comments, and then when they left, people followed him outside and was recording them, which started a whole new
The other
string of
parents?
shit. Other parents
Or
were
like,
recording
you
them.
can't be doing this to the kid.
Right. Why are you talking to with their phone up? Why are you talking to your kids this way? You shouldn't be treating them that way. And then another parent blocks them in with their card, won't let them leave.
All right.
Right, which is a little much.
Yeah, that's like a
he's not putting his
charge,
hands
like
on her.
a false imprisonment.
Right. So then the parents who are being accused of whatever, being too mean, I guess, they have enough. And one lady starts swinging. And like it went down, dude. And now like
Damn.
now the
bro.
cops are there.
And the kids
like,
have to see all that.
and now they can't come back because it got physical. It's like
Right.
up to that point, who gives a shit what they think?
Because it wasn't
know.
physical. It was just the dad being verbally abusive.
Yes, well, depending on who you ask, you
Right,
know what I mean?
right.
And he's all he's saying is, I'm the boss. You're not the boss. You're going to do what I tell you.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
all that is factual.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We talked about it a little bit, when it happened. And I enjoyed thinking about it because it's like there's a difference between like how you would do something and blocking someone in.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? It's
To
like
me, that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. But my point is like you can disagree with the parenting style, and go like, well, that's not right. But also, 9 times out of 9.5, mind your fucking business.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, if something's going on where you're like, this child is in genuine danger, like imminent,
Right.
acute danger right now, sure. Or there's signs of actual physical abuse, yes. Or even like we said, some verbal. If that dad is like, you're the reason your mom killed herself, you stupid cunt
Right.
bitch,
And you
like
should go
you're
kill
gonna die
yourself.
too. Like what there can be like verbal can be worse than physical.
Right.
And then maybe you do have to step in, right? But I'm normally the type to be like, let them parent however they want, like
Right.
and also that's that kid's problem. Figure it out,
Right. Not my
Find a
parents.
paintbrush or a needle, you know what I mean? Figure it out.
After coaching all these kids, man, some of them need to be fucking yelled at.
Well, that's the thing.
you
Certain
know?
kids and their temperaments, there's different parenting styles that work differently as well.
Like, oh man, these fucking little bastards sometimes, dude, just don't listen.
Yeah.
The parents won't yell at them because they're the ones, those parents are the ones holding the phone. Like, oh, don't talk to him don't talk to little Johnny that way. And it's like, your kid's a fucking asshole. Like, big time.
yeah.
Like, get your fucking kid under control.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a whole gentle parenting. I get you shouldn't fucking punch your kid in the face.
Right.
Apparently, you're allowed to slap your kid in the face in Maryland.
Okay.
Because I was talking to the cop.
You heard it
that was
here
there.
first.
No, I was talking to the cop that was there. And I was like,
So how much can I rough up my kids?
so I was just like,
What can I get away with exactly?
Because everybody was like, "You're gonna lock her up," and they were like, "No, like, there's the kid. There's no bruises on the kids. The kids aren't even crying.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?" So I was talking to him, and I was like, "So what would warrant an arrest?" And he was like, "Well, in Maryland, you're allowed to spank your kid." He's like, "You're allowed to slap him in the face." He's like, "As long as we don't see bruises, if there's no sign."
Can you make them smoke bufo? Can you
show 'em what hell is like? That'll
Can you
straighten 'em
send
up.
your 10-year-old as a punishment to you're grounded to hell for 2 minutes? It's better than like a whole summer.
Never disobey anybody again.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do that.
Dude, honestly, maybe the bufo was better than having to be silent for 10 days straight. Maybe like going to a literal hell is better than having to sit with myself for 10 days.
No, you're still trying to do that? You're still
Yeah.
trying to go
Mhm.
10 days.
Yeah.
So did you apply?
This past time I did, and
didn't pick you.
didn't get accepted. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to
Because
apply.
they're probably
again.
watching this shit. They're like,
Yeah,
that fucking guy's gonna let out screams.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know,
this guy's a wild card.
so
Yeah, who knows what I'll do. Which is also like not great as a business owner. I need to be like, if you need the electric work done, let me know at Just in Time Electric.
Right. So you guys are
licensed
still
and
doing this-
insured electrician
they're still
with my
doing
own
it by candlelight.
LLC. Also, if you'd like to advertise on the podcast, let us know. Reach out, holler. If you want to be on the podcast, reach out, holler. Now, I'm also weird about giving my number out, even though I own a business. I'm like,
Right, you're
Just in
still
Time
like-
Electric. Figure it out.
Email me.
443. Figure it the fuck out. I don't like giving my number out to the whole internet.
Even though people can probably get it anywhere.
Yeah,
and
for
even
sure.
if they do call, it's just like,
Yeah.
just don't answer.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. If it's
Yeah.
important, leave a voicemail.
Yeah. Well, I had some issues with, people calling me feelings back. If
Yeah,
you'll
remember.
If you'll recall.
I recall. Yeah, how could I forget?
So, tread lightly.
It's funny.
What's that?
My girl's always weird about me posting like pictures of my 8-month-old, and I'm like, he's fully dressed. Like, what? I don't know. Like, what? I don't see what the fucking problem is. Like,
A fully dressed child?
right, just posting pictures. She's like, I don't really like you posting pictures of
That's
like him all the
interesting.
time, and like, cause I don't know. I guess she thinks some pedophile's gonna.
She
take
watches
it and
too
just,
much,
like,
yeah,
jerk off to
investigation,
it, which
Discovery or
is, even
something.
if you are like, fuck, am I gonna do about it? Like, whatever, dude. Like,
I'll send you some Polaroids.
right,
Dude. Who gives a
right.
fuck?
You know, so I don't know. It's just weird nowadays how people are so worried about that kind of shit.
California's burned to the ground.
That's fucking crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So many people are like,
It's all in the news. It said this fire is 0% contained. Or did you tell me that?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
don't even mention it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's just like when you told me that, it's like zero. It's just such a funny thing to put on the news. So far, the fire is 0% contained.
You're
Just be
mentioning-
like, hey, this shit's fucked up. We gotta go. Like, I don't know. Why are we doing the news? Yeah, it's
so many people are like laughing at the celebrities that have burnt down, have their houses. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I see a lot of people like,
mhm.
which I guess I don't think it's funny, but at the same time, when
First
you
of all,
hear-
everything's funny from a certain perspective.
you know, yes,
But
you know
yes,
what I
what
mean.
you're saying is not the jovial funny.
No.
Not like let's make a funny joke. Like I've seen a couple funny memes
But what
about it
is
and shit.
funny is when one of them come on, they're like, "We've lost everything," and it's like you're watching your house burn down from your other house.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you haven't
yeah.
come
Well,
close.
it's the class. It's a class thing, right?
yes.
It's a class war, right? It's the elites, the haves versus the have-nots. So
Right.
it's easy to be like, eat the rich, fuck them, and it's like they could be just like us, worked hard for their shit or whatever. So I don't think it's that simple. And then you got the people who are like, all these houses that are burning up are on the Diddy list and the Epstein list, and it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
literally,
One big conspiracy.
yeah, wake up, sheeple.
You know, like this doesn't
Oh
happen
my
every
God.
year.
Yeah,
Like, and not only that, it's like you're laughing at these celebrities, but you know damn well they were smart enough and have enough money to get insurance.
yeah,
They're making money off this fucking bullshit.
yeah, yeah.
Like, so
yeah.
what are you laughing at? They're
And
richer.
There's like plenty of conspiracies about why the water stopped running, or if it was self-set or set by an arsonist, and it's just like at the end of the day, it's just on fire.
And people are like, why don't you use ocean water? Which apparently you can't use salt
'Cause
water.
it's flammable. Everyone knows that.
Right, like, I don't know. Apparently it does damage to stuff, but I'm like,
Oh,
you know what does more damage? Fire.
Damage is funny, bro.
Right.
That's good.
Right.
We might damage the property. We can't use the salt. The salt doesn't do
Or
well
I don't
with
know
the
if like
rust
stuff will stop
things.
growing if you put like water the area with a bunch of salt water. I
Yeah.
don't know. There's some fucking reason.
Interesting.
So they say. I don't fucking know. Like,
Yeah.
I just know what I'm told.
Right.
So I guess they're just gonna let it burn. Just let it
that
burn
bitch
out.
Burn, burn, baby, burn.
You know? Or just like
Nah, I really do. My heart goes out to everyone who's losing shit and all the fires and the wildlife and the people and all the things. It's sad.
I mean, the plants and stuff will grow back probably better. They'll rise from the ashes.
Yeah, well, the universe does that, or the world does that.
But don't build
Fires
a fucking
happen.
house where there's wildfires. It's like Tornado Alley. It's called Tornado Alley.
Mm.
Get the fuck out of Tornado Alley, dude.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
yeah. Try Tornado Parkway.
Right, right. Like
Get
it's
out of the
coming.
alley.
They're telling you it's coming, and then it comes, and you're like, I can't believe this happened.
Let me ask you this: boundaries are good, right? I mean, on average, you to set boundaries for yourself is good,
Yeah.
right? It's how we can continue loving
Sometimes
ourselves.
it's good to push the boundaries, and
Well, I just mean you're setting boundaries for yourself,
mhm.
right? Personal boundaries.
Yes, they're good.
It's like how we're able to love ourselves and you simultaneously, right?
Yes,
So we're not overextending ourselves to where we're people pleasing and self abandoning,
right.
right? So boundaries are a good thing. Ultimatums are a bad thing. right?
Yes. Do this or this.
Right.
Like,
Now, it's hard for me. I've been chewing on differentiating the two.
boundaries and ultimatums.
Because, like, an ultimatum could be like, hey, here's my boundary, and if you cross that again, I can't do it. I have to no longer do this, or this has to change. That's technically an ultimatum, but really it's a boundary. I guess it's just about what I came to is, and I'd like to hear your thoughts. Basically, an ultimatum is about the intention behind it almost. It's almost like pointing a finger, right? Like this or this. But I think that if you word it in a different way where it's like, look, here's this boundary I have, and if you cross that boundary, I will no longer willingly do this, right?
I guess if an ultimatum is if you cross the boundary.
So it's not the same as a boundary because it's just announcing this is a boundary with an immediate consequence. Is an
Right.
ultimatum.
So yeah, boundary is setting. You set the boundary. But then
And
the
I don't even like
ultimatum
saying
is-
consequence because consequence makes it sound punitive, right? I'm not saying like, or in the example, it wouldn't be like, do this, and if not, then there's this penalty for you. Like
Right.
there's consequence for you. If not, I need to change something to keep aligning with myself. You
Right,
know.
yes.
So I guess it's like wording it that way
It-
to where it's like this is for me, not you.
Right. Yeah. So just if you cross the boundary, it's okay, and it doesn't have to be like one or the other.
Right.
Just work
Right.
harder.
But it's like if you make scrambled eggs and they're slimy again, I'm gonna fucking hit you.
right.
So I have a
Yeah.
boundary.
Yeah, you got to learn eventually.
You're gonna have to learn. I don't like slippery, slimy eggs. You know,
Nah, I do make some good eggs. I can't cook much.
scrambled
Both.
over easy.
Both.
Okay.
It's the first thing I learned how to cook when I was younger.
Can you poach some?
Oh, I've never tried.
Uncultured
so
swine.
Probably not.
Nah, yeah, probably not.
I've been making a lot of chip beef lately.
Okay,
You know. I've been-
interesting.
yeah, I don't know why. I guess because it's cheap and I like it. You know,
What are
that-
you making the gravy or something?
No, so I get the
What the
pack
fuck
of
is
dried
chip
beef from the store,
Okay.
and then it's super easy. You cut it up, throw it in the pan, butter,
Mm.
milk, flour.
Wow.
Cook it till it thickens up. Put
Sold.
it on some toast.
Figured out dinner.
Boom. That and pho. Got some pho before I came here.
Love it.
Love pho, dude.
Life.
Like
Shout out to Life.
I've been going to Pho 5 Up by Rundle
Oh,
Mills
okay.
because it's the cheapest
Trader.
and no one's ever in there.
I
I've
just
really
love Life.
since now that I have 2 kids, I've really enjoyed going to eat by myself and like
Mm.
sitting in the corner, just enjoying my meal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on my lunch break or something.
Getting
and
some
it's the
actual
cheapest.
solace.
Yes.
Being an individual for 20 minutes.
And I can just walk in and be like this, and they know I want the number 1 since
Yeah.
I'm in there every day now.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, some time to
So
myself.
it's good,
some
huh?
Quiet, it's delicious.
Where's that, Glenburnie?
Right by Rundle Mills.
Oh, okay.
So go up 100 instead of going left to Rundle Mills. Go right. Make a right at the first light.
It's on par with Life?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just go there because it's a little bit cheaper. It's $13.
Come back next week for more pho recommendations.
Don't
Thanks
go
for
to
coming.
Fodena.
Appreciate
Too
you.
expensive. They don't even got the eye round that I like.
You heard
at
it here.
Fodena.
I haven't tried Fodena.
Like this is
Fodena.
13 at Fo 5 Up. Fodena is like 23.
Mm.
Like it's not that good to be $10 more.
It's at the end of the day, it's soup.
Like right,
Yeah.
right. It's mostly like water and noodles.
Broth.
Like what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
$23.
Uh-huh. It also kills me
Wow.
when I call them for the pho and they're like, it'll be 30 minutes. And I'm like, it's ready.
Right. right.
I already
Right, you
know
have
it's
it.
ready.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It kills me too. Like the same thing with this is a little bit of a stretch, but it reminds me of like the digital banking apps and money sending apps. It's like
3 business days.
yeah. Unless you pay extra.
Right.
And then our technology works faster. Like I know that this is not like a person having to carry a note from one place to
Right.
the next. It's numbers that change on a screen from an algorithm.
Carrier
Quit
pigeons.
pretending it takes days.
It pisses me off also. Like nowadays, when you buy internet, you can pay for this speed of internet
Mm.
or the fast speed.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you just
This is
whoever
the
was the
internet.
fastest.
Yeah, right.
You went with them. Now every place is like,
You got to
you
pay
want
for
the
the
slow
premium.
internet?
Yeah.
you want the
That's
really
what the
fast.
streaming apps do too. They go, here you can stream. There'll be shitty commercials all the time. Or you
Right,
can pay us a little
dude.
extra.
Netflix just did that.
You can
It's
pay us
like,
a little extra.
We've come full circle. We're just back to commercials.
Yep.
Like what the fuck?
Back to commercials.
It's the same thing with where they start putting those sales on cargo ships to save gas. Have you seen
Full
that?
circle.
It's like those are sailboats.
It's
Like,
repeating itself.
Bro, you guys are
You
400
watched the
years
Ravens
late.
game.
Yes.
Super Bowl champs, 100%.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
but
like I watched one game all season, and it was the playoff game yesterday, and I'm like, I'm a die-hard Lamar
I
guy.
am, but also there's a big part of me that like
As a Ravens fan, that's what Mike
That,
was
like-
saying. As a Ravens fan, I have to temper my expectations. You know,
I have a hard on for the Lions, you know, just because growing up they were 0-16 one year, 1-15, 3-13, they're just shit. But then you get Dan Campbell.
So you
and
want
the
them
other
to win,
guys.
is what
I
you're
do.
saying.
And if
I
it's the
see.
Ravens
The
and Lions in the
underdog
Super
story.
Bowl, I don't know, dude. I want the
Wow.
Lions to get one.
Mm.
Like I really do.
I hope they never get one.
You know,
I could give a fuck about the Lions.
like I mean, I think last year when they won the playoff game, like half the stadium crying was a little much. Did you see that last year when they won their playoff game, bro?
No.
Half the stadium's like crying, dude. One guy's like, "My dad helped build this
Oh,
stadium.
God.
This is."
As soon
and I'm
as he
just
starts
like-
with my dad, bro, what the
Like,
fuck?
That's a little much, but I get you're
Yeah,
excited.
Yeah.
But the crying over
As
a
long as
playoff win,
Kansas City doesn't win 3 in a row.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
they
Yeah.
shouldn't even be where they're at.
That's what Mike was
Like,
saying. They
what
was
the
ugly all
fuck?
season or something.
Yeah, like half their games are won by like a touchdown or some shit.
I seen
You
you
know.
started the up in the air YouTube thing.
Oh, a long time ago. I haven't
Oh,
done
okay.
shit
I
with
just
it yet.
I just saw it recently.
Yeah.
Up in the air.
He's doing his own fantasy football cast.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How's that going?
I haven't started it yet.
Okay.
He
It's
just
not.
created the page so far.
Right,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
got a
it's,
name.
it's in the
It's
works.
It's
Yeah.
an idea.
It's in the works,
Yeah.
baby.
It's like my brother. My brother's got a new idea to make money. Bro, he calls me last week and he's like, "Hey, man."
I
He's
love
like-
these people. I love
He's
someone
like-
with a new idea to make money. Don't never got no money.
He's like, "Exactly, dude."
I love those
He-
people,
he just
bro.
quit his
They're
job.
the brokest motherfuckers that are always like, "Dude, I figured it out."
He calls me,
I'm
he's
like,
like,
"Bro,
"Hey,
show
man."
me $30 right now."
He's like, "I got an idea." I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "Horseshoe crab blood."
Oh, sure.
I'm like, "What?"
You know how expensive it is an
He
ounce
goes,
in
$60,000 a gallon. I'm like, "Okay, cool."
These are just words you're saying.
Right. But what's your plan
he calls
here?
you, doesn't even say hello.
Like,
Horseshoe crab
like,
blood.
are you asking to use my pier? Like to
Yeah,
catch the horseshoe
what's
crabs?
that?
And then how do you
Anything
extract
functional?
it? Right. And like you're not. Who's buying it? You
Do
got
you
a
know what kind
buyer.
of bait you're gonna use?
Right. Right. He's got nothing, dude. He just saw. I guess it just probably scrolling through Facebook.
Yeah, something TikTok.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's always listening. You know, and then fucking algorithm shows him a $60,000 gallon of horseshoe crab blood, and all of a sudden
He's rich.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because lately he quit his job, and now he's going around to.
I love that already. He quit his job and now he's going around.
No, he's
What's he
going
going
around.
around and doing?
He's going to like thrift shops,
Uh-huh.
and he thinks like he's gonna
How about
find
he's come up?
something. So
Oh,
first he
he's
calls me.
He's on that TikTok lane.
First
Oh,
he calls
yeah,
me and he's like,
fucked.
"Hey," he's like, "check out this museum painting." He's got the museum stamp. He's like, "It's a $1,200 painting. Got it for $40." I'm like, "Dude, I'm at work. I gotta go." So I hang up. I call him back later. I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "You're never gonna believe this." I'm like, "Oh, I can't wait." He's like, "Real small print at the bottom says it's a copy," and I'm like, "No shit." I'm like,
yeah,
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "But sometimes you like find this stuff in there."
sure.
He's like, if you
it
find-
happens.
He's like, "If you find one of the original Beanie Babies, 10 grand." I'm like, "So you're telling me you think you're gonna go and
you're gonna be the one.
Not only are you gonna find the original Beanie Baby worth 10 grand, the person who has it thinks it's worth $10 and they're gonna sell it to you." And he goes, "Yeah."
Dude, it's funny when you repeat someone's shit back to him, and sometimes they'll realize how crazy it sounds. I love that you repeated it back to him, and he's just like, "Yeah."
Bro, he doesn't.
Like he doesn't even see any flaw in it.
No,
He's just
he-
like, "Yeah, what do you not want to be rich?
He's like,
Your name is rich. Do you not want to be rich and wealthy?"
He thinks it's completely logical. Like this is gonna happen, and I'm like, "Dude, you don't think things through enough." Like,
You don't think.
period. like if someone has the original Beanie Baby worth 10 grand, they know.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Don't let him learn about crypto for fuck's sake.
Dude, he ain't got no money to put in it.
Well, once the
Right?
horseshoe crabs start coming in,
Like-
brother.
Which, if I was him, I'd play the lottery. Because whenever I went anywhere with him, we stop somewhere, he gets a scratch off, wins every fucking time. The other day, fucking goes in, buys a $5 scratch off, wins $200.
I think anyone who plays lottery is a sucker.
Big time. Like, I don't know. You're never gonna walk away on top.
No.
You might win big here and there, but
No.
all the money you've spent on it.
You ever been to a casino? See how nice
Yeah,
they are?
So,
You know why they're so nice?
right.
They're taking all of our money.
The only time I've ever played at the casino is on a cruise ship, and I have won every time. I do win big. I do,
Well, then go
but-
put all your life
but
savings
only on the
it.
cruise ship.
Let's go to take
know,
a
I
cruise.
don't-
It'd be
it's
worth
like
it.
I have luck
if you're
there.
tripling your money.
Like
Shit.
the last time I went on a cruise, I hit for like $1,700 right before they closed it down. We were going
Damn.
over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel, so that was the only time I walked off the ship with money. because I usually spend it all after I win it. But they closed everything down right after I won it.
Because of the waters you were in.
Yeah, because we were almost back.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
So that's weird too. How
Dude,
like
the international waters are like, okay,
Right.
we're now allowed to rape.
right,
So everyone knows for the
Like,
next day and a
right,
half there are
right.
no laws.
when we go past this pole,
Yeah.
it's fucking on.
Yeah,
like
it's
it's
so
crazy.
bizarre.
Or like how I told you when I got snatched up for trying to sneak weed on the boat,
Mm-hmm.
and because we hadn't even gone under the Key Bridge yet when it was still there, but because I got caught when we left port, I had to answer for that at the next stop,
Yeah.
even though we were 2,000 miles away.
Right. That's
from
crazy.
Grand Turk.
Yeah, could have whole different laws.
Right.
Yeah.
And they come on, and they're like, "You're a fucking criminal. We don't want you here." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" They're like, "Carnival's
You're
not
like, I've
pressing
gotten
charges."
this before. Let me
Right.
just talk to you for a minute.
They're like, "Carnival's not pressing charges, so as long as you're on the boat, we can't arrest you." They're like, "But if you step off the boat, you're going to jail." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I got grounded for a day, you know,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
fucking." And then they keep the evidence. So like Carnival did find like a loophole, you know, to protect, I guess, its frequent flyers like me. But like I get back, and my uncle's the one that's gonna arrest me, you know, because he works at Port Authority. So, but he's like, before I can take him in, it's funny because he runs into my parents, and they're like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Some idiot tried to sneak weed on the boat," and they were like, "That was Richard." So he goes to like whoever's in charge, and he's like, "Before I can lock him up, I need the evidence." And they're like, "Oh, we left the evidence in Grand Turk," and he was like, "Well, I can't do nothing. Let him go."
White privilege.
Right, right, dude. So I fucking. So then my mom's like, "So now you know not to do that,
They're
right?"
like,
I'm
we
like,
smoked that.
I'm like, now I know I can do it.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Like, what do you
No
mean?
consequence.
Like, I'm definitely doing it
Touch
again.
the stove, didn't get burnt.
Plus, I got lazy. Every other time, you want to carry it. What I would do is I would buy a big pack of Halls and put it in the pack of Halls and then put it in a cargo pocket because it won't set off the machine. Just won't set off anything. I got lazy. On my 5th or 6th cruise, I just threw it in my luggage.
Right.
I was like,
Mhm.
you know. And the guy said, as soon as he fucking opened the bag, he's like, I could smell it.
Yeah.
And I
Weed
kept denying
smells.
it. This guy was like, he's like, "Look, you can either tell me the truth and I'll take care of you, or you can keep lying to me and I'm going to turn you over to somebody who won't take care of you."
Mm.
And immediately I was like, "It's mine." I don't know why. Luis, I'll never forget him. Luis. And I was like, "It's mine." He's like, "All right, I got to search your room. I need a written confession." He's like, and that's it. He didn't tell me I'd have to deal with the Grand Turk police.
Right.
But he was like, that's it. And then when he gets it, he goes, "You know how much you bring?" I said, "I know exactly how much." It was all grinded up in a pill bottle. And he goes, "About 10 grams?" I said, "Dude, that's 10 grams exactly." He said, "I've been doing this a long time." So, but nothing happened besides that,
Yeah.
you know? So if you're looking to sneak weed on a boat, go for it.
Yeah.
Not
And
gonna
if you're
do
looking to
nothing.
sneak drugs on a plane, hit my DMs.
And
I'll give you a
also
little
I
tip.
learned they don't, because we walked by one of the dogs getting on.
Yeah.
And of course, my whole family's sweating because we all got weed on us.
Probably bomb dog.
Bomb dog.
Same with the airport.
Bomb dog getting on, drug dog getting off.
Oh, interesting.
Don't take bombs on, don't take drugs off.
Right. At airports, I'm not going to say everyone is a bomb dog, but I know people, someone who isn't me, that has definitely walked right next to them dogs, you know, where they have to do the sweep
Right.
with drugs on them, you know? And I think
And
that they're
not-
mostly bombs. Yeah, no, the dogs.
Or it's a real shitty bomb or drug dog.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's just-
But I'm just thinking, you know how many people get fried as fuck before they go fly? Like, if you
Yeah.
had a drug dog at BWI, they would just be running in circles. Like, it's Baltimore,
It would be
Washington
exhausted.
International. It's like,
They'd had to shut the port down one time because a guy fucking, the same bag he used to put his clothes on and to go on a cruise, he had used the week before to go to the gun range. So there was still gunpowder, like a little bit of gunpowder.
The
in
gunpowder and bomb stuff they're serious about.
And the
But if
fucking
you're like
dog-
getting high, most TSA agents are like, look, bro, we're not trying to do no paperwork.
Oh,
We don't feel like having to get this tested. Just keep it moving.
I took some fucking MDMA before I got on a plane one time. Worst decision.
Why the fuck
ever.
did you do that?
Because a buddy of mine was going to take it down to Florida.
And then y'all
we
got
get in
sketched
there,
out.
And he was like, "I'm throwing it away." And I'm like, "You're not throwing it away."
Okay, fair.
I was like, it's gonna.
Actually, it's all valid now.
I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
So I took it, and it was because I smoke cigarettes, and you know how good
Uh,
that feels.
uh.
So for 3 hours, bro, I'm just on a plane,
Thinking about cigarettes.
just thinking about cigarettes, dude. Just like it was awful. Like, dude, I got off when that plane landed. I fucking just ran outside. I was like, "Grab my bags," and just took off outside to
Yeah,
smoke.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like, and you want to talk.
I took it when we went to school one time. And that was terrible. Yeah, I just like I want to talk and like chew gum and like fucking ramble and like rub myself and like my English teacher's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like rolling my balls off, dude. I was on 2 yellow X-Men ecstasy pills. I'm like 16 years old, rolling my balls off. She's like,
"It's real big."
Are you okay? I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. What do you mean? Yeah, I'm fine. Are you okay? I'm okay. Are you okay? Are you okay? What's going on? Everything okay?" And she's like, "I think you need to go to the nurse." And I'm like, "Yeah, I definitely need to go to the nurse." And I just left. Just walked right out the fucking school.
God, like, dude,
terrible. Don't do drugs. Stay in vegetable. Eat your school. Love you. Thanks for coming.
Anytime.
Ravens Super Bowl champs.
Hope so. Or Lions.
Nah. If this doesn't work, I'll kill myself. Damn.